Greetings to everyone and welcome to yet another session of Markitup. So today we're gonna discuss about Web3. We all must have heard this word called Web3 here and there, and it's really is a necessity to know about the reality of it. Why, what the base behind it, and is it just a buzzword or is it the reality? So today to discuss about what the opportunities we can have in the Web3 space, how we can take benefits or leverage of Web3, and how we can make a future, our future in Web3. We are having Pratham with us. Pratham is a former developer advocate at Third Wave, and he is also building Seton, and he has a following of more than 1,40,000 on Twitter, and he is constantly tweeting about ML and Web3. So welcome back to session Pratham. Sorry, Market up Pratham. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much for having me over here.
So Pratham, would you like to introduce yourself? Like, although I have introduced, but still like
Sure. So, hey everyone, my name is Pratham Prasoon, and I'm a 17-year-old high school student. And I'm a self-taught programmer, and I have 140,000 followers on Twitter at this point, where I tweet about my journey in learning about machine learning and Web3. Um, and I'm also currently, I used to be a developer advocate at this uh, Web3 startup called Third Web, which I left to start my own startup, which is called Saturn. And we're building developer tooling for Web3 developers. So, yeah, really excited to be here. Happy to answer all your questions. And yeah, I just can't wait to interact with all of you.
yeah. And your startup got funding from Polygon also, right?
Right. So our startup got $10,000 in funding from the startup called from this blockchain um, company, I'd say, called Polygon. So, yeah,
Great, great, great. Yeah. So Pratham, let's start the session.
sure.
What
Let's
is
do it.
Web3? Like, how would you explain Web3 in a layman term? So like, anyone who haven't heard about it and don't have any technical knowledge, how would you explain Web3 to Web3?
Sure. So Web3 basically refers to like the next generation of the internet per se. So the way how I like to explain it is that, you know, when the internet first began, this was in the 1990s. You know, the internet was just starting out. Just got the first web browser. JavaScript like just was in its very initial stages, and at that time websites were simple. Everything was very simple. You can visit websites, you can see information, you can do all of that. So it was a very basic version of the internet. It was just the start. But then 10 years after that, in 2003 2004, what happened is that we started seeing all these social media giants like Facebook, Twitter, um, like they all came into the picture, and that is what we call Web 2. So this was the second generation of the internet. So in the first generation of the internet just began, and it was you can just read information and all that. But in Web 2, you can not only read information, you can also connect with other people, and all these social media apps came in, and the internet in general became more mature. And all these corporations, they were running ads, and they would like using their users data in order to make money and whatnot. So that's like Web 2. And Web 3, as we speak about it right now, is going to be the next generation of the internet. So it's the next iteration of the internet, which is different from Web 2. So in Web 2, let's say, like, all these social media companies, Facebook, Twitter, you use Twitter, you use Facebook or whatever. You don't, like, you can connect with people and all that, but in the end, it is the big corporations that earn all the money from your data and all of that. They are the ones that benefit off of you. And what Web3 is trying to do is that it's trying to change that, and it's trying to give that power back to the users. So the main motives of Web3 are that it should be more open. It should be like, everyone should own a part of the internet instead of these big corporations. And it should in general be more advanced than Web 2. So it should be smarter in the sense that um, like there is introduction of AI, ML, and all these technologies that are being used more and more in all the apps that we use here and there. So that's also part of Web3, and all these cryptocurrencies and blockchains that are there that you can use to make financial transactions using cryptocurrency on the internet. So basically Web3 is all about giving power back to the users of the internet, and just trying to make it a better experience for everyone, for creators and the users. That's, I hope I explained that well. Yeah.
Yeah, you explained it uh, in a very nice way. How does it giving powers to its users?
Sure. So, in Web 2, as I explained, there is Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, all these big corporations that, they use your data and they sell you ads, they sell your privacy, and they sell your data to benefit off of you. What happens in Web 3 is that it connects the consumers and the creators directly. So, let's say if you like a song or some artist, in the Web 2 world, what would happen is, let's say you upload a song on YouTube. YouTube will take 50% of the money that you earn with the ads, right? So YouTube is mostly benefiting off of your work. But on the other hand, in Web3, what's going to happen is that you connect the creators and the consumers together. So that means that if there is a singer, they can directly connect to their audience, and their audience can directly support them without having this middleman of YouTube or whatever. And this is going to be powered by using blockchain technology and all the different applications that are being built on top of that. So that is sort of how power is being transferred from these big corporations to the people, the users of the internet.
Hmm. Got it, got it. So basically, there will be no middleman.
Precisely, yeah.
Yeah. So, uh, like as a developer, how can anyone get into it? What are the
So for
skills or what are the technologies we should learn?
Mhm. So surprisingly, the skill set for getting into Web3 as a developer is not as difficult as people think. So first of all, I'd recommend you to learn. If you're already a developer, you definitely know something like Python or JavaScript, and you just have to add some things here and there on top of that. So you can learn Python, JavaScript. You have to learn a couple of frameworks in Python and JavaScript that you will use to interact with the content on the blockchain. And to actually write code that runs on the blockchain, you will have to learn something called Solidity. So Solidity is a language of its own. Like it's a totally separate language that you'll have to learn, but it's not very very tough. Um, so or the and other than Solidity, you can also learn Rust, which is used on some other blockchains. So there are all these different types of blockchains. I like to categorize them into two parts. So there is the Ethereum ecosystem, and then there is the Solana ecosystem. The Ethereum ecosystem uses Solidity, and the Solana ecosystem uses Rust. So, uh, so again, to recap, learn Python, learn JavaScript. Both of them are good. Um, and then either learn Rust or either learn Solidity. I'd prefer Solidity over Rust because Solana is still in its early stages.
Got it, got it. Like you had said that uh, Web3 is the future of technologies. So how will it going to change the future of technologies? What are the changes will happen in the future?
So right now we're very uncertain as to how Web3 will evolve and how it will, how exactly it will take shape. But from now, what I can tell is, definitely like you will like the creators, as we call, they will have more power in the internet. You as the user will benefit financially more in this new era of Web3, and I think in general. Like it will be more open, more decentralized, and more equitable for everyone. That's the way how I see it. And in general, you'll just have a better experience on the internet. That's
Hmm.
that's what
Got
I
it, got
can
it.
guess from now. Yeah.
Yeah, and like uh, this is fascinating. Like the news which is happening in Web3 space, uh, that's quite surprising as well as and fascinating as well. So, uh, what do you think? Like as a college student or as a school guy, should we go to learn about Web3? Like what are the things we should consider, like the red flags to go into the Web3, or why should anyone go to the go into the Web3 space as a developer as well as or as a person who want to make future as a content creator in Web3, or maybe if you want to create some business. So, what would your take on it?
I mean, so I think you should, always keep learning about new technologies and whatever like new things are coming. Like, have a goal in mind. Like, let's say you want to be a game developer, then, make sure you stick to that plan. Or you want to do something else, stick to the plan. But always keep exploring new things because who knows that, 10 years down the line, Web3 will be a huge thing and like there'll be a lot of basically like it will become the de facto thing. Who knows, right? So always explore new things and try to work wherever where you feel you can have the most impact on and whatever you're most passionate about. That's my advice. But if you want to learn about Web3, I mean, I think it's a very interesting field and there's a lot of potential here. So yeah, definitely try learning about it, give it a shot. That's all I'll say personally. Yeah.
Someone who want like to create content in Web3 space, and not as a developer, don't want to go on the techie side. Be that.
So,
So,
so by content as in like,
yeah,
what exactly do you mean?
writing about
Okay.
Web3.
So yeah, I mean, so the thing with Web3 is that it's so early right now. There is a lot of need for content and content that everyone can understand, and definitely like there's a lot of opportunity there, and like if you want to get started with it, start learning about the blockchain, start learning about different technologies in Web3. um, you know, read more articles, read more blogs, see more YouTube videos, and then just try to explain whatever you understand, because there's like place for everyone right now in this. Um,
Yeah, like uh, why am I asking these questions? Because I have talked to some Web3 startups, and they always looking for someone.
can you give me a
Uh,
second? Just give me 2 minutes.
okay, okay, sure, sure. Yeah, so जब तक Pratham will join us back, I will tell you something that all the Web3 startups, most of them are doing content marketing. So they're always looking for someone who can create content for their carousels and for write about blogs and for their Twitter threads. So you guys can explore that area. You can search about it. Uh, Startups are really fascinated about it. Like if you are good in it and you approach any startup, they will pay you a good amount as well as you can monetize your Web3 knowledge. If you are someone who are passionate about Web3 and learning about Web3, not only in techie side, normally generally blog वगैरह पढ़ रहे हो, then you can approach startups or as a work as a content researcher or thing like that, because this is which something which is in a high and more.
Yeah,
True,
sorry about
absolutely
that.
true, Lakan. Yeah, so
Sorry,
add
sorry.
on,
Yeah, Anmol, go on, go.
yeah, so I just wanted to add on to what Lakan said that you can always work in a startup, and the amount of exposure you get while working in an early stage startup is just huge and it is unmatchable. You won't get the same amount of experience in an MNC or in a company, but startups are a jewel. You should definitely try working in one. Yeah, that was it, Lakan.
Great, great, great. Uh, so yeah, that's what I was saying, that you can learn about Web3 and which startups. They always looking for someone who can work for them. There are people who is looking for community lead as well, where you can solve other people's doubt, because these companies wanted to clarify their consumers doubt. So if you don't want to go on the techie side, you can go on this side as well. Yeah, so Pratham, are you back, or you are
Yeah, I'm
still
back.
there?
Sorry about that. Yeah, sorry
Yeah,
about
no
that.
worries, no worries. Yeah, I guess we should open stage for everyone now. So everyone, you can request to speak, but try to make your question related to Web3 only, and also limit yourself to one questions, because we want more people to interact with Pratham. Yeah, you can raise your hands. Accepting. Uh, Please try to keep it related to Web3 only. And that's it. Hi, Max. So
Hey Pratham.
Hi, what's up?
So yeah, how are you?
I'm awesome. How about you?
Yeah, great to hear that. So my question is, what are some startups working on the this platform like Web3? May I know some favorable startups?
I mean,
Can
so
you
there's my
some
s- s-
what are yeah, please.
so there's my startup, but I mean, we're a very small, like just it's like a side project more than a startup. So I wouldn't really count that. There's a startup called Buildspace. There is Third Web. There is the Quick Node. I think that's yeah, Quick Node. There's Infura, Polygon, Solana. All these blockchain and cryptocurrencies that you see, they're technically Web3 startups as well. So you can approach all these people. You can like there is the Graph, that is another startup that's working in Web3. And in general, a lot of typical Web2 companies are also like Twitter, Facebook. They're also pivoting in Web3, and they're also having their blockchain division and all that.
I hope it answers your query. Hi,
Yeah,
Saran.
yeah.
You can go on
So
with your
one more
question.
question, Pratham. 1 minute, please. So as a
Yeah,
part
sure,
of
sure.
yes, yes, as a part of business or something like product session, so how can they make profit from the startup which is related to Web3, or what will be the business part usually, and how they raise funding and what they sell actually. I'm not understanding what they sell or what services do they provide.
So I'll give you an example. So I mean, you use Twitter, right? So there is a Twitter Web3 competitor that is called BitClout, and the what happens there is you can make your own posts just like Twitter. It's exactly like Twitter, but there are some certain Web3 centric features where you can tip, like you can give a tip to a creator that you really like, and you can invest in that creator. So each creator has their own coin, and you can invest in it. So if the creator does really well, you profit off of that. And what that BitCloud, that company does, all it does is it takes a very small fraction of each transaction that the people make on that platform. So that is their business model. Typically, this is how Web3 companies work. And in the case for how these gets how all these startups get funding, they so like let's say I got our startup got funding from Polygon. So we're building a tool that makes Polygon accessible to more people. Um, and in doing that, we're onboarding more users onto the Polygon blockchain, which is helping Polygon, which is why they invested in us. So that's typically the thinking behind these companies and whatnot.
Yeah, I guess this answers your query. Saran, you can go on with your question.
Okay. Okay. Hello.
Yeah, you're audible.
Hi,
Okay.
nice to meet you.
Okay. Same. So I will be straightforward. Okay. So I am a 12th student. So after 1 month, I will complete my board exam, and then I will have 4 months free. So I know basic React, the
Congrats.
main React. So I also have little interest in Web3. So is learning Web3 like learning a new framework or JavaScript, or it is a whole different thing?
So there are two parts to Web3. So you said React. So there is a backend and there's a front end. Backend, you can have Node.js, you can have Django, you can have Python, Flask, whatever. And front end, may you have React, Vue, Next.js, whatever. So front end in Web3 is exactly the same. Absolutely no difference. There is like very small minor differences, but it's mostly the same. Where most of the changes comes is in the backend, where you interact with the blockchain, where you create something called a smart contract and all of that. So that is where the major changes come, and for that you need to learn Solidity, which is a new language, or Rust. You can also learn Rust, and you have to learn a few JavaScript frameworks to work with the blockchain. So you'll have to use something called Ethers JS. Ethers. There is Mocha. I'm not sure if it's called Mocha. It's Truffle, Brownie. All these frameworks are there. If you want, I'll put a list in the chat after this event is over. But typically, that's how it goes.
Okay. And can I ask one more question?
Sure, sure, sure.
Okay, so okay, so So I want to start learning as soon as possible after my exam. So which do you think I should do? Should I learn Web3 because I've heard that we can earn money fast, or should I improve my JavaScript, sorry, React skill more and focus on making React projects? So which should I
So
choose?
I mean, there's nothing bad in making money. Obviously, like everyone loves money. We need money to survive. But what I will say is focus more on your learning and just learn JavaScript and I'd just recommend get good at JavaScript and then try to make some Web3 projects. Like again, as I said, React remains same in Web 2 or Web 3. React is React. It will stay same everywhere. So if you're learning React, that's awesome. Continue learning React and थोड़ा थोड़ा बीच में like also learn some Web3, थोड़ा सा backend Node.js. It always helps to learn more and more things and have them in your toolbox. So but if you're focusing on React, sure, go with it. And just good at JavaScript in general. That's all I'll say.
Okay, thank you very much.
Most welcome.
Hi, Vasnit Kaji. We can,
Hello,
yeah.
am I audible?
Yep, you're
Mm,
audible.
Yeah, bro. I just got one question to ask to you. There, should I learn Python or JavaScript before learning Solidity, or I can directly jump into Solidity?
So Solidity you can learn on your own. It's totally different. Like you can learn Solidity, no issues there. But like it's totally separate, so don't worry about that. But I will say you will need JavaScript to compile. Like sometimes you'll need JavaScript or Python. So I'd say learn Python or JavaScript and learn Solidity. That's the combination I'd go for.
I, I guess it answered your query. Do you have any other doubts? Okay. Ritesh, you can go on with your question.
Hello.
Hi Ritesh.
Hi, Pratham.
Hey man, what's up?
I just want to ask you how I can learn from scratch Web3.
So learn JavaScript. Okay, I'll keep it simple.
Okay.
Learn JavaScript properly.
Okay.
Learn some front end, little bit, HTML, CSS basics.
I don't know anything about computers. Can I learn basics? Can I start from
Um,
scratch?
yeah, sure. So, exactly. So, so there is a programming language called JavaScript. Okay. Um,
Yes.
learn that. Search for how to learn JavaScript for beginners online. You'll find lots of tutorials, videos. Okay, do that.
Okay.
Um,
Huh.
and then learn Solidity. I like
Okay.
doing both of that is I think more than enough for you to understand basics of blockchain and Web3. Um,
Okay.
I'm not sure if I can explain more on this call, but I'll put some notes in the chat afterwards after this call. Yeah.
Okay. I just want to ask you another question.
Sure, sure,
Are you comfortable with it?
sure, sure. Yeah.
How you grow your Twitter account?
So I just tweet about what I'm currently working on and what I'm learning, and I just try to share my learnings, and that's basically how I grew on Twitter. I interact with other people, and um, yeah, that's all there is to it.
Thank you.
Hi, am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible. Hi, Anurag.
Pratham, can you please share the process of creating an Web3 application, like
Yeah, so
how?
I will.
Yeah,
I'll send you a tutorial, and I think that should be good enough for everyone to learn. This
yeah,
is
yeah.
a yeah.
And one more question, as I am learning React and all the technologies, and how can I get a industry exposure like any internship or any other work experience?
So the way, in fact, by the way, I think Ishan Sharma has posted a really good video on how to become a Web3 developer. So I think all of you guys can just refer to that. I think it's a fantastic video. I just posted it in the events chat. Um, yeah, and sorry, coming back to your question, you were asking about industry exposure, right? So,
Yeah, yeah.
um, so learn React or whatever that you're learning, build projects like decent projects, and then reach out to companies saying that hey, I am a developer. These are the projects that I've worked on. I know JavaScript. I know this, and I would love to work for you. I can do this, whatever things you can do, and start cold emails, start reaching out to people like that, from companies who are hiring, and all that. That will really help you get your industry experience, and that's the way how I'd go about it.
Yeah, yeah, thanks for that.
Awesome. Thank you,
Okay.
Pratham, for answering Anurag's query. So, moving ahead with the session, Pratham, uh, all of us knew what happened with Luna a couple of days ago, and things like this keep on happening in the Web3 space. So, what would you say on this? As in, a lot of people lose their trust just because of these scams and things happening. So, what would be your say on this?
I'm actually not aware what happened to Leon. What happened?
So basically, Luna had a stable coin on the Terra blockchain, and that
Oh,
deflated.
okay. Hmm. Yeah, so I think this is very important to mention, but Web3 is a very new technology, but we always have to be careful with what we're getting into. Um, like since it's so new, everyone's just trying to profit off the hype. There are lots of scams, lots of all of that, and the fact that it's all related to money makes it even worse, right? So we have to be careful about that. And you know uh, just just do your research, do proper research. If you're unsure of something, try and talk to an expert, try and talk to people who are in the space, and try to get their information on it, and verify all everything before you invest in something. I mean, I'm not going to give any investment advice here. Like, it's your money, be responsible with it. And I guess invest what only you can afford to lose. So be very careful. This is like, there are a lot of predatory people in this space. So, yeah, just stay vigilant, be careful, and ask for help when you need it.
Definitely. Thanks for raising out that point, Pratham. A lot of people invest just because their friends say to invest. So that is very
Right.
important over here.
Right. Right. It's always important that like you're dealing with money, so be careful. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, next point, what I would like to pick up is brain drain, something which probably isn't relevant to the Web3 specifically, but this is something happening from India. As in, a lot of people are moving out from India to other countries like Dubai and Singapore to work on their startups. So, um, what do you think is the reason behind it, and what can be a probable solution behind it?
I mean, I'm not exactly sure why people are doing that. Maybe it's to avoid taxes or something, but I don't think, I've worked at startups in the US by staying in India. So, like, just be in a place where you think you're most comfortable. You don't have to travel anywhere. Like, because of remote work, everything, you can work at the comfort of your home. And, I, yeah, I mean, I don't think your location matters as much as it does. I'm pretty sure they're just trying to avoid taxes or some sort of benefit. I'm not 100% sure.
Got it, got it, got it, Radham. So let's touch a little upon NFTs because they are a very essential part of the Web3 ecosystem. So, what essentially NFTs are, if I were to ask you, Radham?
So NFT stands for non-fungible token. What an NFT is designed to do, it shows ownership of a particular file, like a digital asset, of you that you own on a blockchain. So let's say you own this image of a cat or whatever. So on the blockchain, it says that yes, Pratham owns this image of a cat or whatever. Now, a lot of people think that's very trivial. Like, Why would you want to do that? What's the benefit of that? Um, um, like the thing is, these NFTs, they can be used for utility. So let's say you hold an NFT of some project, and that project decides to do a giveaway, or that project decides to hold a party or something. Your NFT that shows your ownership of that file on the blockchain can be used as a ticket to enter that party or enter that giveaway, and get all these perks and all of that all on the blockchain. So that's the point of NFTs.
Got it, got it. So, people in the VC, how many of you already knew about NFTs? Please give a quick yes in the events chat. Waiting for you. Or how many of you already own one? Also, Pratham, these days a lot of startups are working on creating a play to earn ecosystem, and all of that is involved around NFTs as well, right?
Yeah, so NFTs can be used anywhere, wherever you want utility and you want to give utility to only certain people. That's where you can use NFTs. So yeah,
Got it, got it. Let's take a couple of questions from the audience quickly.
sure.
Also, how much more time do you have?
I might have 20 minutes more, I think.
Got it, got it. So, people in the VC, feel free to raise your hand. I'll be happy to bring you up on the stage and limit yourself to a single question. Until then, another thing which I would like to pick up here is staking. It is a very common term in the Web3 world. So, would you like
Hmm.
to make staking easier for our audience?
Sure. So a very simple way of explaining staking is how you can make a deposit in your bank account, and every year you get some interest on it, right? In the same way, let's say you have some crypto, let's say you have 100 Ethereum coin, and you want to, if it's just lying there, it's not doing anything, you might want to make it useful. So what you can do is you can stake that Ethereum, and you can get some certain interest on it, just like you do in a bank. Except in this case, it's done fully on the blockchain, it's fully automated. And this is a part of something called DeFi, which is decentralized finance. So, yeah, that is essentially what staking is all about.
So, it is like a term for FD in the Web3 ecosystem.
Pretty much, pretty much. There are some complications, but for the most part, yes. Yeah.
Okay, so there's this question in the chat that what can a commerce student do with the Web3 space? How can he or she contribute to the Web3 ecosystem?
So, I mean, if I'm assuming that you're a commerce student, you already know a lot about finance, and you know about business studies, accounting, and all that. And the thing is, all those concepts still apply in Web3, because Web3 is it's the intersection of money and programming. So I think it's like a very interesting field, and you'll definitely like you know relate to a lot of things. Yeah.
Absolutely, Pratham. So, I have this a question based upon statistics. So, when Metaverse or when Facebook changed its name, NFTs were very popular, and I was reading out a study recently. So, the sales of NFTs dropped very much. So, what do you think can be a probable reason behind it?
I mean, like whenever there's a new technology, there's obviously a lot of hype surrounding it at the start, but slowly as the hype dies down, um things get a bit slow, and that is what we're seeing right now. We saw NFT sales drop from $26 billion to um like you know like half of that. So it's normal, it happens in all new technologies that are there. And that is actually a good thing, because it leads to more mature applications and things that actually work. So like yeah, basically, um I think it's a good thing. It's just a very normal hype cycle kind of thing, where new technologies get hyped, and then the hype dies out, and then you know the actual building starts. So yeah.
Correct. Pretty valid point, Pratham, that the best will survive and the others will usually fade out.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so we have a audience question. Hey Aslam, uh, I think he got disconnected. Anyways, people in the chat still want to ask about your Twitter, man. How did you view your Twitter? We had a talk on this earlier as well when you were when we hosted you the previous time, but yeah.
Yeah, maybe we should do another. Maybe we should do another like stage just on Twitter growth and whatnot.
Sounds like a great idea, Pratham.
Yeah.
All right,
Hello.
I mean,
people in
but
the yeah,
Okay, so I want to ask this one question again. So I'm from Nepal, and that blockchain, cryptocurrency, PayPal, everything is banned. So while doing freelancing using Web3, so is it? It's just like JavaScript project, right? We have to share code after making project, or how can we do how do we do freelancing with Web3?
free, freelancing in Web3, you just approach so there is something called a DAO, decentralized autonomous organization. Um, you can join that, like join a DAO, and there you can start doing work like as freelancer. So there's actually a DAO that Tanmay Bhatt is running. It's called what is it called? Super Team. Yeah, Super Team. Put the link in the description.
Okay, and we don't
So
have to buy that Ethereum and Bitcoin to work in that, right? We can just write code
no,
and earn money, right?
no. So like you take up a project and then if you do the project well, you get paid in Ethereum or whatever cryptocurrency that they're doing. There's Super Team. There is Developer DAO. Um, there is something called Gitcoin. I'm not sure if you've heard of that.
Yes,
Mm.
I heard of it, but so if so in my country, so if crypto thing, everything is banned, blockchain, everything is banned. So that means so I can't do Web3.
Yeah, crypto can never be banned. You can always use another way to, you can use a VPN, you can use some other way, and you can easily, use cryptocurrencies. I'm not sure if you can cash out your cryptocurrencies, um, but you can still develop on blockchain applications and all that. So yeah,
Okay, thank you very much. And I will say one thing. Okay, yeah.
sure, sure,
Okay, so if anyone is here from Nepal learning Web3, please contact me. Thank you.
awesome,
definitely
nice.
awesome, Saran. Hey
Thank you.
Aslam,
Yeah, Lakhan, how are you?
Hey
hey
man,
Aslam,
um,
it's Anmol here. Awesome, Aslam, you can go ahead with your question.
Yeah, so my question is like where one can learn about all of these technologies like Web3, Solidity, and all that. Like, as you know that we are having a lot of resources available on YouTube for free, but we need to sort out, like, we need to sort out. So, as we don't have that much of time, so is there any resources like you know?
yeah. So I put it back in the chat. Ishan Sharma again, fantastic video. It has everything.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Mhm.
yeah. Like that video,
Thanks for
it
that.
covers everything.
Mhm.
It will give you every single
Mhm.
resource. It will give you every single thing that you need and all the help that you want. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Most welcome.
Awesome, Aslam. So Pratham, there's this a little technical question in the chat that what does nodes in a blockchain mean?
So the thing about blockchain is that, let's say in a normal application, normal web application, you have a centralized server like AWS or Microsoft Azure or whatever. It's one place. In the blockchain is like a server, but except all the server, it's like distributed across different people. So um, each part of this server is called a node, and each node does some work. So that's a node in a blockchain. That's the most basic way I can explain it. Yeah.
So can we also call it like a blockchain is a collection of different nodes?
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it.
Awesome, awesome, Pratham. Do we have more questions in the chat? Let me see it real quick. Okay, I think we have covered quite a lot of topics ranging from staking to NFTs and we also touched upon DAOs for a little. So it was great to have you, Pratham. I don't think we have more questions from the audience, so we are probably good to finish this, and we'll reach out to you
Awesome.
for a session on Twitter.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
man. I enjoy being here every single time. It's pretty awesome.
let's do some more
Uh,
sessions as well.
it's just it's the same here, Pratham. The people love you. The people love you
Thank you.
talking to them.
Thank you so much, man. Like, really means a lot. And yeah, hopefully I answered all the questions properly. And yeah, really enjoyed it.
Thank you, Pratham, for
Absolutely.
joining in, and thank
Awesome,
you to
man.
audience for listening. Uh,
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you everyone for joining. Thank you for being a patient listener, and thanks a lot again to Pratham for taking time from his schedule and joining us, giving us some time. And other people in the VC, you can join Hangout VC. Let's have a talk about Web3 over there. And see you guys. Have a good day. Good night.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Bye, guys. Take care.
Nice.
Bye. Bye.